What's up guys, welcome to MST.TV. In today's video, we are going to talk about OTS Tournament Pack 12. So if you guys don't know, OTS packs are ones that you can only get from your local game store when you enter into your local tournament. They're probably, like personally, my favorite packs to open, right? They either reprint cards that haven't been reprinted in a while and make them more accessible, or they reprint cards which were previously only available as common, but now makes them holos, right? I think they're really cool because it, one, allows me to finish off certain deck cores that I'm working on, or two, it allows me to hollow out the deck cores that I already have built. So one of the games that I used to play with a group of friends is that we would try to predict which supers and ultimate rares would be coming out in each OTS pack. Like at the time they were astral packs, but same idea, right? So I figured we could do a similar thing here. So I'm presenting you guys with my predictions for OTS Tournament Pack 12. We have 10 super rares and 3 ultimate rares to go through. So yeah, hopefully you guys agree with some of my picks. Hopefully this prediction list is more accurate than my ban list prediction video was. We know how disastrously that turned out. Anyways, also guys, for today's giveaway, we're going to be changing things up a little bit. So today's giveaway is actually going to be over on the MST.TV Facebook page. I have a post up there, so if you guys want to be entered, all you have to do, head over there after watching the video, follow the page, give the post a thumbs up, and just like that, you will automatically be entered. So yeah, with that out of the way, let's get into the video. Alright guys, so we're going to go through the super rares first. So the first card we have here is Salamangreat Rage. So Rage is a really key card in Salamangreat, allowing you to pop cards on your opponent's field. Depending on the matchup or like what you've already drawn, you're dumping this card or Salamangreat Roar with Gazelle and then adding it back with Sunlight Wolf to ensure that you have some form of disruption during your opponent's turn. Now, structure deck exclusive cards are very often like among the cards that are hollowed out in OTS packs, and that's why Salamangreat Rage is here. Now, even though we have Circle and Gazelle limited, we are still seeing Salamangreat do fairly well at the competitive level, and the deck did just get new support in Chaos Impact, so there's definitely going to be an incentive for Konami to want to keep some hype around the Salamangreat archetype. Next, we have Orca's Symbol Skeleton. So Orcas are currently like the most highly represented deck in the competitive format. However, with Nightmare Mermaid banned, Orcas have needed to play a greater number of Orcas monsters in order to make Galatea more consistently. As a result, we're seeing most builds max out on copies of Harp Horror and then playing additional copies of Symbol Skeleton or Brass Bombard. I believe they're currently playing 2 to 3 copies of Symbol Skeleton, and seeing as we just had Harp Horror reprinted as a super rare in OTS Tournament Pack 11, I really wouldn't be surprised to see Symbol Skeleton reprinted as a holo in OTS Tournament Pack 12. Now, as the most represented deck, it's pretty unlikely that we see only one holo reprint for Orcist, so while it would be interesting to see both Symbol Skeleton and Brass Bombard printed as holos, I believe that the other card we're going to see is World Legacy World Wand. So this is a level 9 monster that's played as a 1-of in Orcist, as you can banish it from your graveyard to summon out an Orcist monster from the graveyard. Even though it's just a 1-of, I think it's very likely that we're going to see this card reprinted as a super, similarly to how Orcist Nightmare was included in OTS Tournament Pack 11. Also, remember that this card is technically a World Legacy card, and over the last few OTS packs, we've seen quite a few different World Legacy monsters get reprinted, so it wouldn't really surprise me if we saw this trend continue here. So next up, another structure deck card, we have Servant of Endymion. So this card has kind of like single-handedly pushed along the evolution of Pendulum decks, as it can bring out Jackal King, which stops the deck from automatically losing to Nibiru. So recently we've seen kind of like a turbo variant of the deck that plays copies of like Into the Void and Allure of Darkness, so that you can hit this card as soon as possible, as well as put spell counters on the card so that you can resolve its effect before comboing off. So yeah, I think it's a really cool card, and it's kind of like the thing that allowed Pendulum to continue as a deck all on its own, so I think it's very, very deserving of an OTS holo spot. So going second decks have become increasingly popular recently. With cards like Super Polymerization and Nibiru in the game, you can break your opponent's board and still be able to combo off during your turn. So Tenyi Spirit Vishuddha is a card that has been played in different decks, helping to push that going second strategy, as it is a free body that doesn't burn your normal summon, and can further disrupt your opponent by bouncing one of their cards by banishing this card from your graveyard after you've linked it off. On a lesser note, we did actually see Tenyi get a few different support cards in Chaos Impact. Now, a lot of the Tenyi cards, I believe, were printed in pretty low rarities, so I think it's a good thing for Konami to kind of show some love for the archetype here. Reprinting this card as a holo is therefore kind of like reprinting a good, somewhat generic going second card, as well as providing like that holo bump for a somewhat overlooked and underappreciated archetype. So Scrap Twin Dragon is a card that hasn't been reprinted ever, with its only print coming from the infamous set Starstrike Blast. Now, with Scraps getting Scrap Wyvern released in the Chaos Impact Special Edition, I believe that Scrap Twin Dragon is that hard to pull card that would be a pretty big barrier preventing people from building the deck. Reprinting the card here would be a great way to help players who want to build scraps do so without breaking the bank for this card. I believe it's actually very similar to when we saw Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem reprinted in OTS Tournament Pack 5. Next up, we have Lite Tiger. So believe it or not, this card hasn't been reprinted since it first came out as a common way back in Shining Victories. I believe Lunalites have actually caught people off guard a couple of times. Like, there was the Lunalite Orcus deck that topped, but I believe that before that there was a time like a year or two ago where Lunalite did really well out of nowhere as an OTK deck and kind of surprised everyone. Anyways, Tiger is a really important card in the deck, as when it's a scale you can revive a Lunalite from your graveyard, and that isn't a hard once per turn. Obviously pretty broken, especially if you can bounce it back and reuse it multiple times. This card is actually pretty pricey for a common too, right? It's a common from a core set, but it's $3 to $4 because it hasn't seen that reprint. I believe that a lot of cards in the deck are actually only available in common or rare as a rarity as well, so it'd be nice to give that deck a little bit more love. Alright, next we have Annette. So this card is kind of like a one card engine by itself, bringing out Galaxy Serpent to make Ib, and then starting off the entire Guard Dragon combo from there. However, this card was only ever printed in a starter deck and then a star pack, which no one really opens, right? So this card was actually pretty annoying to find for a while, because who wants to pay like $10 for a playset of a starter deck common? There was also an alternative option with Soul Eating Oviraptor, Carbonetin, and Flamvel Guard, so it's not like this card was absolutely necessary. However, I'm pretty fond of this engine because it is more compact, and I think it's about time that this card gets the widely accessible holo reprint that it deserves. I feel like we can't go more than a few months without getting some sort of new hero card announced. We literally just got Adjusted Gold and Malicious Bane in Legendary Duelist Immortal Destiny, and we're currently expecting to get even more support in Legendary Duelist 5 coming out in January. So with that, I think that we should expect to see a good hero link monster get a holo reprint in OTS Tournament Pack 12, specifically Extra Hero Cross Crusader. This guy is really good, right? Reviving a Destiny hero from your graveyard and then allowing you to tribute a Destiny hero to search for any hero monster from your deck. Its link arrows are also really useful if you don't want to have to go into a sold. I think this card definitely deserves a holo reprint, and with all of the support coming out for heroes, I think there's a very good chance that it's going to be included here. Okay guys, and lastly we have the Nibiru Token. The last few OTS packs we've been getting like the Sky Striker tokens, Mecha Phantom Beast tokens, and Trickstar token, so what better token to get now than the Nibiru Token? Honestly, Nibiru has been one of the most influential cards to come out in all of 2019, like single-handedly changing the way that people play the game, and this token does look really cool. So I think it'd be pretty awesome if we saw this token get imported to the TCG right away. Okay guys, so now we are on to the ultimate rares. So first one up, we have Grenmaju da Iza. So Grenmaju decks are probably one of the biggest surprises that we've seen in terms of competitive play all year. I still remember the first time that I heard Grenmaju Golden Castle was almost going to win an event. I couldn't believe it, but ever since then the deck has been fairly popular. I think a lot of people are pretty big on it because it's so easy to learn and it's pretty fun to play. Anyways, yeah, I definitely think that it's about time we got Grenmaju as a holo, since this card came out way back in Invasion of Chaos, but has never seen a holo print. This card is literally as old as Blackluster Soldier Envoy of the Beginning. So I picked this card as an ultimate rare because I think that this card would look absolutely amazing. Like, between the texture and colors on the card, I think it could be really beautiful, and I'd love to see it happen. If not an ultimate rare, definitely at least a super rare. Come on, Konami. But I'd love to see them give it that extra bump, especially given how much love the player base clearly has shown for this card. So for the second ultimate rare, I am predicting Guard Dragon LP. So the Guard Dragon package has been a fairly popular engine over the last little while, helping to accelerate literally every dragon strategy by putting out those big monsters, but also it helps out decks that just play like a couple of dragon cards, right? Like World Chalice, it's been mixed with Thunder Dragons, and then we've seen Pendulum Magician play it like kind of out of nowhere. Now we just saw Eggerpain banned on the last Forbidden Limited list, and that would have originally been the card that I thought was going to take this spot. However, I'm thinking now that the card is going to be LP, LP is still a very viable key card in different strategies like Rockets and Dragon Link, as it still allows these decks to combo and accelerate their strategies. It can bring out cards like Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, Starleech Seifert, and Omni Dragon Brotar, all of which are really impactful, right? Even though the Guard Dragon engine isn't as potent or broken as it used to be, I do believe that because of how many different decks the card helps, and because of its current role in the meta, Guard Dragon LP is definitely deserving of an ultimate rare spot in OTS Tournament Pack 12. And finally, guys, the last ultimate rare spot, we have Infinite Impermanence. So I know you guys have been begging for a reprint of Infinite Impermanence, and that's fair. It's like a very strong card, and it's also very flexible. It functions as a hand trap if you're going second, but it can also be set and used as a regular trap if you're going first. Let's be real, we all know what this card does. Now, we didn't see this card reprinted in the Megatins from last year, and it only has its one reprint in dual power. So what we all need to understand is that with like such big key cards like this, Konami needs to get as much value from them as possible. So we saw with Ash Blossom, that card was short printed in the Kaiba collection and Shadows in Valhalla before it was available for everyone, because these iconic key meta cards can help to push product. Therefore, I think that Infinite Impermanence is going to be the next card to fill that role. With this, I think that the card is going to be something that incentivizes players to get out to their locals for the chance to pull this very hard to find card. Now, I still think it's going to be short printed in another set before we see it printed and made widely accessible to everyone in a structure deck or something like that. But because of how good and sought after the card is, and also like how nice the card art would look as an ultimate rare, I definitely think that Infinite Impermanence is going to be the third most highly sought after ultimate rare from OTS Tournament Pack 12. Alright guys, that is it for this video. So two quick things to note here. One, obviously I'm not going to be right about all of these, right? There are always going to be those cards that are reprinted that are kind of like the duds that you don't want to pull, or you kind of question why they were included in the set in the first place. Obviously, Konami can't make absolutely every card in the set really good. And secondly, we didn't discuss the commons because I feel like there are just so many different factors that will go into what gets reprinted here. So if it was up to me, I would say cards like Scrap Golem or Gateway of the Six Samurai to support the Chaos Impact Special Edition. I would also look at what cards are being reprinted in Mystic Fighters to support like the Generaids and the Dragon Maids, and then maybe whatever isn't included in Mystic Fighters might get reprinted in the OTS pack instead. And then other things that I would look to are like Fire Fist cards like Fire Fist Dragon and Horse Prince, or like Madolche cards, right? Chocolat a la Mode or Magellan, just to make those cards more accessible to the player base. But again, that's just me. Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching. If you've made it this far, please let me know down in the comment section below what you guys are predicting will be included in OTS Tournament Pack 12, and be sure to check out our Facebook page to be entered into our latest giveaway. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, please be sure to slam that thumbs up button, and of course subscribe if you haven't already to stay up to date with all of the latest content from Tombox and myself. And of course, until next time guys, don't forget to hold on to your MST.TV.